It wasn't a bear. I've lived in a remote cabin deep in the forest for nearly 5 years. It's always been peaceful. No strange happenings, no disturbances, just the quiet hum of nature. The most unusual thing I'd ever encountered was an animal I couldn't identify standing on a ridge about half a mile from my home. I wrote it off as a trick of the light, nothing more. That was until the dead animals started appearing. At first, it was small, squirrels, rabbits, one every few days for 2 weeks. Living in the forest, I didn't think much of it. Wolves often roamed the area, and I assumed they were responsible. But then, the wolves started disappearing, and the bodies started getting larger. A fox, a deer, a young elk. Then, a silence settled over the forest. No more wolves, no more howls in the distance. Just the wind through the trees, and the growing feeling that I was being watched. I told my mother about it when I visited her for a week. She used to live in this cabin before me, and she shrugged it off. Said it happened when she lived there, too. Probably just a bear, she told me, or a mountain lion. I returned home to find 9 dead animals scattered around my cabin. That's when I noticed something disturbing. They all had their hearts ripped out. Their eyes were gone, leaving only empty sockets. My stomach turned. I set up 3 cameras around my property, determined to catch whatever was doing this. The next morning, I found more bodies, including a wolf. But the cameras? Destroyed. Smashed to pieces, covered in something dark and sticky. That night I stayed up and watched from my window, keeping the outdoor lights on. And that's when I saw it. It moved through the trees with unnatural grace, a massive, twisted shape that looked like a wolf but wasn't. It was wrong. Too large, too humanoid. Its fur was thick and matted, and its glowing yellow eyes burned through the darkness. In its jaws, a struggling deer kicked and thrashed. The creature dropped it, pinning it to the ground before tearing its chest open with razor-sharp claws. I couldn't move. I could barely breathe. As soon as the thing vanished into the trees, I locked myself in the guest bedroom and waited for morning. When the sun rose, I found the deer's remains, alongside 3 more, all with their hearts missing. That was the last straw. I packed a bag and drove straight to my mom's house, telling her everything. We called the police, but I could tell by their expressions that they didn't believe me. Still, I refused to go back alone. When I finally returned to grab the rest of my belongings, I stepped inside and froze. A dead deer lay in my living room, its heart missing. My furniture was overturned, claw marks deep in the wooden walls. Whatever it had been inside. I don't know what would have happened if I had stayed one more night, but I know one thing for sure: that wasn't a bear.